Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I have these small drops stencil. I have lovebirds. I have the big love you die. I've already die cut some of that out to save a little bit of time. I'm also going to do the shadows in some vellum. This background is again a background that I have made quite a while ago. I'm going to be honest. But what it is, it's watercolor cardstock using the small drops stencil. I've applied embossing paste through that. Now embossing paste is absorbent. Words are hard. It sucks in the color. And then once it's dry, I've sprayed it over with some sort of stains or sprays. Okay, and just let it go and don't touch it too much. And that's the background that we've got there. I've die cut quite a few of the U's out. I think I cut it out about 3 or 4 times. In the end, it's about 3 or 4 times. I've saved one for a little bit later on that we're going to paper piece into our background there. I've also got the vellum for you to show you, just to help make my letters just stand out that little bit more. So we're going to adhere this down onto our card base, because this is where we're going to start to piece things all together. I'm making sure my little bits and pieces, like between in the middle of the U and the middle of the Y, are adhered down, so glued down nice and securely. Now I don't need to put glue down because this U that I've got here actually has double-sided taping on the back of it, so we just need to pop it in. And I'm going to do that with all my letters. Now I do leave the center of this O out, but don't. Make sure you leave it, put it in. So what you're not going to see is I actually reinforce the center on my O later on. So now we're going to stick down our vellum. I've applied glue all through my letters because I didn't know where my lovebirds were going to I knew where they were going to place, but I didn't know what was going to be seen out of it. So I'm going to remove the glue using an adhesive eraser, which is a brilliant tool. This is just out of my stash. This is something I've had for many years. But you don't need to actually do that. You can keep the glue because you're not going to see any of it at all either way. And getting an idea of my little birds. I had a rough plan for this card, but it did sort of evolve a little bit. So we're going to place all our letters down. I just needed to stick a little tiny bit of my Y back down in before adhering him. We're going to glue our U, but I am going to reinforce. You're not going to see the center of the O reinforced, but it is reinforced. Okay. Next thing we've got is our little lovebirds. You can see the double-sided tape there. This is just really old stuff. You can use double-sided tape. There's other tape that is much wider that you can also use the same thing. Peeled the backing off him. I'm just trying to make sure all my pieces get stuck down, like it stay down with the rest of the die. And that's how he's going to be placed. I am going to have to put a little bit of foam tape underneath the rest of his branch, and his tail's going to need a little bit of help, otherwise I'm going to lose the center of him as well. And towards the end I'll actually add a little bit more on the bottom of his tail. So he's all done. I've got another one out. You can see in the top corner, I did think about coloring some of my outline, but I decided not to go with that. So we're just going to put another plain white piece of the outline back down. So I'm going to just adding glue to all him. We're going to stick him down. The white stands out a fair bit, but I just thought it was Just really nice. There's a little bit of detail in that. You can start to see the bottom of his tail needs a little bit of help. I'm picking out their little eyes and gluing them down. The next thing I had to do was a beak. The beak was individual and not touching anything else. So we're just going to stick that down, or the outline of that down, I should say. And just make sure he's all lined up properly and let him sit. The next is our love. So we're going to adhere the love onto the vellum, and to make sure that you can't see all the glue oozing out from underneath the vellum, I'm just trying to do little tiny drops, trying not to go overboard, which is where a very fine glue pen of some sort works wonders. The same thing's going to happen with the back of the love, making sure I put it only underneath the white die, the white cardstock that I've already got there, and just making sure it's really, really small, tiny little drops. And it is going to adhere down. Doing lots of little dots here and there, it will attach itself to the raised elements of the small drop stencil. So if you haven't tried this technique before, give it a try and give it the eclipse. I think it's called eclipse technique, where you're going to raise up part of a die cut element that is, so you're using the negative and the positive all in one go. You're just going to raise up the positive parts of your die and have them stand out a little bit more. I did push my center in between the bird, or the two birds, down. I thought I liked it. I don't know why, but I just really liked it. So that's what we're going with. And we've got some clear sequins. In my case, this is clear confetti. This is just out of my stash. This is something I've had for a little while now as well. But you could use clear sequins. That wouldn't be a problem at all. That is my card for today. I hope you're well. If you like what you've watched today, hit the subscribe button and the like button, and leave us a little comment of what you enjoyed. Bye.